It is doable, not necessarily enjoyable, but somewhat fulfilling. This year I'm expanding my garden by adding a 30 by 36 foot plot of rows. It's going to be comprised of 9 rows, 30 inches wide with an 18-inch walkway in between them. And I thought about renting a tiller, maybe even buying a tiller, but for me it just doesn't make sense. And maybe it doesn't make sense for you either, because this is eventually going to be a no-till garden. I was going to till it first to help the soil structure because the area behind me has been used and abused. It was dug up when we had a septic mishap, and I got to see what the soil structure looked like, but then all the heavy machinery that was on top of it has really compacted it. So I wanted to till it, just a little bit to incorporate some organic matter and just add some air and porosity to the soil. But I got to thinking, tillers are relatively new and gardening has been happening for a very long time. So we don't need it. We can do it with, good old-fashioned muscle. But, I'm not the most fit person. I'm not unfit. Maybe we'll put me at average. And I'm interested to see how long it's actually going to take me to dig out a row. So it is a 30-foot long row, 30 inches wide, that I'm going to be doing something called double digging. That was the plan at least, but as you'll soon see, it didn't go that way. But before I got to the point where I'm at today, where I'm going to be double digging, I did a few things. One, in the fall, I planted a cover crop, and that cover crop was for a few different reasons. One, to just have something growing in the ground to stabilize the ground, so runoff just didn't wash my soil away down the hill. Two, it also prevented weeds from blowing in because there were plants growing in there, they were shading it out, they would help for some weed suppression. And then three, just adding organic matter, via the roots and for everything that was growing on top to just help bring life back to the soil, which was barren. A month ago, I mowed the whole cover crop down and then put this silage tarp on. The silage tarp is a very, very thick plastic. This is a 40 by 50 foot silage tarp. I got it from Haas Tools. I'll link down below. And I have to say it was a little unwieldy pulling it out and over the plot, but it was manageable with one person. It would be easier with a second person. Thankfully, there wasn't that much wind that day. And I weighed it down with sandbags and then some containers that I filled with water. And I messed up there a little bit because those containers that were filled with water, the clear ones on bright sunny days, were magnifying glasses, and I melted some holes in my very expensive tarp. But as you can see, the tarp did a great job of killing everything except for the burdock, which I'll have to pay special attention and get that out by the roots when I'm double digging. I laid out my rows, which again were 30 inches wide, 30 feet long, with stakes and some string. And before I start double digging, I applied a layer of alfalfa. Now alfalfa is going to be one of my nitrogen sources, and just to again add some more organic matter into the soil. I put that on top, so as I double dig, it's going to get incorporated. Let's start digging by digging out my first trench, which I'll be putting in a wheelbarrow and then working my way down the row. So the way double digging should work is that you first dig a trench out, put that dirt to the side, and then as you dig, you kind of move each sort of successive line of dirt into the trench that you just created in front of it, turning over the dirt. But as you can see, I've got a lot of rocks, and they're not small at all. It has been 30 minutes and I've only made it 2 feet, but I will say that the first trench is the hardest, and then as you've seen, I have a whole lot of rocks. So I'm 2.5 hours into this fun experiment, and I'm about halfway done with my 30-foot row. It's not looking good for the 9 rows that I have to do, but given the amount of rock and shingles, which is mildly concerning, and wire, nothing electrical, don't worry, and just junk that I found, I think like digging is the best route to go. A tiller, even like a big, powerful, walk behind tiller, would still struggle with these massive rocks. It would get, it would get stall. I'd have to dig them out anyway, so it'd be starting the tiller, stopping the tiller, moving it out of the way. I don't know if it would be that much faster. Luckily, I only plan to do this once. Put in the sweat equity one time, and then this will be my permanent garden beds, forever, until I die, which may be in the next hour. I don't think I'm being dramatic. I'm switching to a tool that I haven't used in a while. This right here, I know it as a daba. It's from Burkina Faso, where I actually did techniques like this. And I think I'm gonna return to, rather than just fully double digging, just using this to achieve a depth of about 6-7 inches into the ground, maybe a little bit more, and churning it up that way. When I started off double digging, I was going about 1 foot and turning everything over, but with all of the rock, it is just too hard. So I'll have a good 7-8 inches of churned up soil, and I do plan to put another 3, 4, 5 inches of compost on top. This is where I am, mainly because it's just too hard, and this thing will be faster. Should be. It was faster. I think I was also hitting less rocks, but this is a much better tool for the job, at least for what I think I need to be doing. But my hands were a little tender. Okay, it is the next day, and I have to say, I don't feel horrible. My body is sore, especially my hands. My calluses are very tender, but I thought I was going to be absolutely immobile. Do I feel like doing it again today? No, not at all. Will I continue to do the rest of my garden? Yes. I've completely done away with the idea of like a true double dig with a shovel. This is going to be my tool of choice. I looked on Amazon this morning trying to see if I could find something similar that wasn't this one, because this one is kind of sentimental, but it's a tool, it's supposed to be used, and I just couldn't find anything that looked just as good, as stout as this tool. So I'll be using this, and then if it breaks, well, I'll find a replacement for it, but hopefully it doesn't. So hopefully you enjoyed this video where I was exploring hand digging my garden and doing it with hand tools. It's something that I think was a valuable exercise, because I'm trying to just conceptualize the idea of gardening, and the sun is going crazy, gardening and homesteading and just producing food without petroleum and outside inputs and excess energy, and using sweat energy. So that was the main driver behind wanting to use this hand tool, because it's how we've done it for thousands of years. So that is all. My name is Tyler Lloyd. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that YouTubers tell you to do, and I wish you the very best. See you later. Bye. One down and 8 to go.